you know? Okay, thank you. So keep going with what you were saying.
So I'm 4 years into my business. I'm still not at 10,000 followers, but I've seen that other creatives in my niche of being an artist, that's not really a big deal for them. I'm beginning to explore Patreon and I've just started. I know really very little about it, but that could be a better platform for me. I don't know. But Pinterest is definitely loving on me more than Facebook has.
So with Patreon, you're thinking let's say on Facebook, and you're going to go to my Patreon. Like, how are you planning to put Patreon into this?
I don't know yet. I've heard that artists primarily are on Patreon.
Okay.
So I'm just still really in the exploration mode. I don't know enough yet to know if I'm really going to move that way.
Okay, here is something though that I just as like your business coach, not for Milo Card, just in general, hearing you. What I would recommend, and Teresa and I talk about this a lot, is to lean into what's working. Therefore, think about challenges you could do on Facebook. Like we're going to do, like I've had success. I'll send you some podcast episodes. Somebody did this where she did like a challenge on Facebook for free and then rolled those people over into her membership. I'm not sure starting from scratch somewhere is the way to go, as much as take what's working and figure out how to funnel people into it. Are you
I
getting
agree with that.
a lot of people canceling in your membership?
Um, I wouldn't say a lot because it's funny. If somebody cancels, it's not long before I have someone to replace that person.
So pay attention to that. Pay attention, because like it's much easier to grow what's already working than to start fresh.
Yeah,
We
I
think that
agree with
starting
that.
fresh is going to be like the panacea. And you've got some traction. So I'm going to send you a podcast of somebody who did some free challenges, got people really excited, opened her like membership and, gets people in and does this a couple of times. So just think about that.
That's funny that you say that because I just came across one of those type scenarios and I wondered what the end result would be. So that's probably what they're doing. So that's very interesting. I
Yeah.
would love to hear that.
So here's the thing. How do we get in front of people like you? Because people like you are creating recurring revenue. They are artists. How do we think like you? Is that a weird question?
No, no, I think
Like,
that,
what do we
well,
say to somebody like you to get you to start a membership that like to say this is how you could really make money?
I think a good model for that would be somebody like Sarah Williams that does Launch Your Box because
Mhm.
she's making money hand over fist.
Now,
And
okay.
and the reason I say that is because it's all recurring memberships. It's these box subscriptions. And so her ads come up all the time. She has free podcasts or free sessions of how to start all the time. And so maybe you give away what's the free thing would be, how do you start a group? How do you start a subscription? And some of the things that you did that brought me into your group initially, what is your niche? Are you ready to make money? Are you ready to be your own boss? Are you tired of the corporate 9 to 5, which that's what I'm doing right now anyway, in addition to my art.
So wait, so
Um,
you're saying we should follow her, like how she's doing her business, not that we should
I
go
think
after her audience, because we don't support physical goods,
yes,
memberships. But you're
yes, but
saying
her
learn from
method,
her.
yes, yes, that's what I'm
Mhm.
thinking because she is making money hand over fist.
She's been on my podcast, so I totally know what she's doing.
I mean, I think that she's tapped into something. How to make that work for me, I haven't quite figured out because I don't want to do a subscription box. But some of the methodology there, and maybe that's the secret. Maybe it's not that anybody wants to do a subscription box, but how to do the recurring revenue, the
Mhm.
passive income.
Do you,
Um,
now, here's a question. Are you active in your community? Because we
mhm.
pay people, you, $100 for every sale of Milo tree cart.
Oh, really?
Really. Like, we are looking for ambassadors because we're I hope you think we're the real deal. Like, we're
Oh,
there for
yes.
you. We believe in, we're building our product. Like, Clarita's my head of marketing. Like, we are, us,
Yes.
So it's like, how do we get people like you, and how can we work with you to reach out to your people to say, hey, I was able to turn this on. I'm working full time, and yet this is my biggest way I make money.
I will have to give that some thought and give you some feedback, and I will. I can email you guys some thoughts because I'll have to really think about that.
And can you just
What would
share, how do you run your I didn't mean to interrupt you. So
You're okay.
how do
You're
you
okay.
run your membership? Like, how many times are you going live on Facebook, and how
Yes.
how do you run your membership? And is it exhausting for you?
It's not well, that's a fine line given my schedule right now. So the way I work mine is I go live every Monday night and we paint for 1 hour, and I only do it for 1 hour. I don't do a project a week. My projects, just because of the nature of my projects, may take several sessions, may take several Monday nights. But every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central, I am live in my private group and we're
This is
painting.
private. This is what people are paying
Mhm.
for. Are they painting as
Mhm.
well?
They tell me that sometimes they are, and sometimes they're watching and they'll go back and paint later.
And this is not Zoom. This is Facebook that you're
No.
going live. So you
Yes.
can't see them.
Right.
They're just
Now I see them in the
messaging.
comments. Right. I see them in the comments. I have toyed with doing a Zoom. I've tried that a couple of times. It didn't feel good. It's like the people that are in my membership groups are not really wanting to talk. And I think that's given that a lot of times artists are introspective, introverts. So it's just you gotta feel them out and poll them and ask them, do y'all want to do a Zoom? And maybe it would be a Zoom party and not so much about doing the activity
Right.
in the Zoom, but doing a let's talk or let's get together, just friend to friend, friend time or something. And I need to do that. I have not done that yet with the group I have now.
So the paid group gets 4 painting sessions a month. Do they
Yes,
get
4 hours.
anything else? 4 hours of your time a month.
I give them the resources that we're going to be using, that I just post in our private group. I don't mail anything.
Is there a lot of conversation in your private group? Is there a lot of community in the private group?
I would say there's some. I wouldn't say there's a lot. And I think that goes back to the introvert personalities, that people that do what we do tend to do. But the feedback I get is absolutely wonderful. Because a lot of the ladies that are in my paid group, my private group, they will show up on my Pin TV lives and be in the comments to support me there. So I think that there is a tight community that builds, but I don't think it's a super chatty group. I don't think it's not like what you might envision some private groups to be.
Now, when you're going live for an hour, are you talking the whole time? Are you talking about
Mhm.
painting? Are you talking about your life? Are you talking about Jesus? What are you doing?
All of the above. It just
Okay.
depends on the day, whatever's on my
Okay.
mind.
Okay.
But I do give instructions step by step of what I'm doing with that project. Like, for example, last week we did an experiment. We tested on cardboard different mediums on how to get textured painting and determine which one we liked the best, which one we thought worked best. And they really seemed to enjoy that, because it's going to be applied toward the project that we're working on. We're doing an angel series now. And so we were trying to explore doing textured wings. So that was one thing. I think they really enjoyed that out of the norm experiment.
Interesting. Okay. So now, how many times are you going live for free in your Facebook group? So you've got your
So
regular Facebook group, which you have a couple thousand followers, and then you've got your private group. And I didn't look. How many members do you have? Do you know?
in my private group, I think I have 9,
Okay. And
maybe 8.
okay. Okay.
Less than
And
10.
less than 10. And has it ever been bigger than that or no?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
And do you know how much,
No.
I don't, I could look, how much do you charge?
$12.95
Okay.
a month
Got
per
it.
member.
Okay. So here, so is there a way that given that you said you do know people in the Facebook painting community who are, my hunch is Christian, Southern, right? Is there a way
Yes.
that we, you and me with Clarita as well, could put together like a workshop where you reach out to these people who have Facebook pages? Like they're not necessarily your members who are just women who want to paint with you, but for
Mhm.
people who would want to start memberships. What's your
I think
thought?
so. I think so. Because I know there is one lady that did reach out to me wanting to start a membership and she never could get it off the ground. Um, and I didn't have the time to hold her hand because I mean, my answer's been to pay for coaches, and that's been the most valuable resource.
Mhm.
So I think that there definitely is that we could do a workshop. And this particular lady I'm thinking would be one that we could bring in. I know a few others that we may could bring in and do a workshop on how to turn this into a profitable deal. Um, I'm just trying to think. I don't know. I'll have to give that some thought on what would be the angle and how it would be presented to really bring them in and attract them. I
So
know one of the,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, if
I
I
was,
were to reach out to somebody, let's say who's like, who you would be friends with, like, right? And I were to be like, hey, I'm Jillian. Will you role play how you would talk, like you be me, and you're talking to somebody like you? What would you say to them?
I would probably say, listen, are you ready to take this a different, you know, here's the deal. This is the truth. Whenever you test things and you've got things that are working okay and they're not even working um, even at an average level that you would like for them to, you have to pivot. And so this would be, I think, a way to consider pivoting someone's business to try to get that passive income, you know, go live. It's kind of like the sell it, make it once, sell it many thing, because every live, I'm turning that 1 hour on Monday nights into multiple people trying to build that stream of revenue. I would like to see it grow even further. Um, but I think it's definitely one step to pivot. Like one of the girls, and I'm thinking about one of the ladies, it's a friend of mine. She does paint parties, but she's doing them in person and she's tried to do them virtually and it hasn't been successful for her. And she does a great job. She's also in that Heidi, I can't think of her last name, Painting for Profits group. And so she gets a lot of her resources there.
Okay. And
Um, This
so,
other lady that I was mentioning before, I think she's so new in it that she would definitely be interested in a workshop.
and are these people, because one thing that we found, it's people on Facebook who have audiences who are comfortable going live.
Yes. Yes.
That would be
They
that's like where we see the sweet spot.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're definitely that group.
Okay. And they tend to be Southern. They could be wreathers. They could be,
Crafters.
crafters.
So I
Like,
have another friend that's more of a crafter than a painter, and she has a VIP group, but she doesn't. She has fewer members in hers than mine, and she has over 35,000 followers.
yeah. See,
So,
yes. Like that is
and
our
I'm not even to 8,500 followers yet.
wow, good for you though. Gosh, that's good. All right. So Teresa, is we've got like 5 minutes left. Here's one thing. Would you record, we're working with a coach. Would you record a testimonial for Milo Tricart and what there were, do you remember, Clarita, could you look in the Discord? Because there were like three
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Just to, because again, I want to lean in and work with you to help bring these people to us, like, and hopefully pay you $100 per sign up.
Sure.
because
I
our
would be
feeling
glad
is
to.
this, which is there's nobody better than you to, spread the word that like people will trust you because hopefully, because you trust us.
Mm-hmm.
We,
Mm-hmm.
we
Oh,
want that like
definitely.
organic growth.
Yes. And I mean, I have no question about, I would be glad to do that because I know that you guys are the real deal. I mean,
Oh,
either one of y'all have never given me any reason to ever doubt or question anything that I've had to do with you guys. Um, you,
yeah,
David, and Clarita, all of you.
exactly. Yeah. We're like the
So,
mighty threesome.
but I would be glad to,
Oh,
and
that'd
just
be
tell
so
me how
sweet.
you need it done. And
Okay. And then will you think about, because I'll think Clarita and I'll put our brains on this as well, how we can work with you, even if it's like me, us going out to our audience and saying, I have this special guest who is a crafter who started a membership, and you can talk about how you do it,
sure,
you know?
yes, I would be
It,
glad to.
okay. And then like you could potentially invite these friends as well to this and to talk about it from the perspective of recurring revenue, because it's one thing that we're thinking about is this idea that like with AI, it's like your personal brand is going to be even more important, because otherwise, how are you going to compete with AI content? It's like, this is Teresa. I want to show up with Teresa because she speaks to me.
Mhm.
Yes. One of the things that I do, and I've been meaning to email you, and I want to put this out there while we're on the phone, is I want to do a free month before their subscription kicks in so they can test drive me.
Oh, a
But I
free
don't know
month
how
of
to
your,
set that
you
up.
can do that. We have a coupon code. I'll ask
Okay.
David and get back to you. Yeah, you can do that.
That would be amazing.
Because, and also, I'm going to, as soon as we get off this call, I'm going to send you the podcast episode I want you to listen to, because it's a woman who was able to quit her 9 to 5 crafting.
That's
I know,
great.
look at you, crafting. And she does these challenges and then opens up her business and gets people in.
I want to listen, yes. But I definitely would love to collaborate with you guys somehow through that and give you a testimonial, whatever you think.
Yeah. Oh, thank
Because I
you.
trust you guys for sure.
Okay.
No, thank
All
you.
right. Well, good.
Mhm.
So, Clarita, sorry, do you have anything else to ask?
No, first it was so nice to see you, Teresa.
You
Oh,
too.
wait.
You
One last
too.
question. One last question. Sorry. Teresa, how often are you going live in your regular group? Like how is that for you?
So I am in my late 50s and I work a 9 to 5. So my energy level's pretty maxed
Well,
out. So I can only do one live a night. So on Monday nights is my private group. I try to schedule Pinterest lives for Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, or Friday nights.
so just one
So
time. So like once a
one
week
time. Mhm.
for
Well,
Pinterest.
no, I'm going twice a week on Pinterest.
Okay. 2 times a week for an hour each.
Yes. And so that gives me Wednesday night or Friday night, whichever Pinterest, however I'm able to schedule that. So really only a couple of times a week on Facebook right now because they're not really feeding me. Pinterest, I'm getting more bang for my buck, so to speak. I'm not making a bunch of money, but I think I've picked up 1 or 2 members in my paint group from
Mhm.
Pinterest. I
Interesting.
always have that linked. I figured out how to link that
Do
together.
you talk about it? Do you talk about it?
So when you do a Pinterest TV live, you have the ability to not only talk about it, but to actually put the links in the sidebar that the audience sees. And so I
Mhm.
figured out how to do that so that it will link them to my class. But there's still not a bunch of growth there. I think I'm still new. I've been doing this since November,
Okay.
doing the Pin TV.
Okay.
So it just takes time to build.
Okay.
And I think too, one of the things that I have to work on for myself is to keep it simple, keep the project simple. And I find just because of the way my brain works, going into detailed things, I think it's overwhelming to people and they think I could never do that.
You mean on Pinterest when you're going live?
Yeah, on anything really. I've got to
Okay.
really scale it back
So
because I could
maybe
really get deep in the details. That's just how my brain works.
totally as your coach, here are a couple thoughts. Teresa, Clarita, if you have any thoughts, please. Here's my thought, which is keep talking about your group as like a fresh, like a way to start getting in, kind of like what you were just saying for Sarah Williams. Like she's going to go, hey, I'm going to take you from not knowing what to do to doing this. And maybe you differentiate your group, your special group, as a way to say, I'm going to speak to the people who are just starting, or like make it not threatening. You know, this is your comfort spot. So if you find painting scary or overwhelming or whatever, come into my group. Not that you have to change what you're doing in the group necessarily, because chances are you're open to questions and stuff, but this is your place to ask questions, to get more hands-on attention so that you then set up in your customer's mind, like, if this feels over, let's start from the beginning over here, or start as a beginner. Like, this is a group for people who are just getting their feet wet, and you might have some experienced painters in the group, but I don't know exactly how you parse that. But in a way, it's almost like you need to join the group. If you like this, definitely join the group, because it's a different type of experience. It's a more personal experience. You know?
Yes.
So that it feels like, oh, this is how I start. That's just a thought. And to kind of
That
be
was a
like,
great thought.
to talk about what you're going to be, are you sharing what you're doing in the group? Like in the
Yes.
private group, you get this.
Yes.
To make it seem like you don't want to miss out on that.
Right. And I post the pictures of our current projects
Perfect.
into the Facebook feed, and I talk about it all the time. So it's just a matter of, I think it's the economy, and I think we're starting to see some easing up on that. And it's just continuing to try to find that right audience.
And being very intentional, like you were telling just now to us, like shepherding people in. Well, like almost like I'm going to take your hand and I'm going to lead you into the group.
Yes.
And I'm going to, so two things after we get off, because we're over time, I'm going to give you instructions on how to offer a free month. And also I'm going to send you a link to a podcast episode that I think will benefit you.
That'd be great.
And I'll add the 2 or 3 points that you can talk about in the testimonial.
That'd be
perfect.
great.
Okay. So
it's like 2 or 3.
And Clarita and I'll figure out how we can work with like some ideas for how we all could work together.
That'd be fantastic.
I'm already following on Pinterest, and I will try to catch you on one pin live TV.
Now, if you watch the Pinterest live, you can only do it on your phone. It's not available on desktop or laptop.
That's so interesting.
Interesting.
Is there a recording then we can watch? Like, can I go to my phone right now?
You can go to your phone right now, and if you hit the TV in the top left corner, you can see past episodes. You have to kind of scroll through there and keep going until you find me, or any of the creators that are there.
Right.
So I'm anxious to see if I get monetized. We'll see.
Okay, keep us posted. All right, so we'll be in touch with you.
That sounds good.
Awesome. Well, this is terrific. Clarita, do you have any other questions?
No, you went through everything that we needed to talk about. So
okay, I hope I answered some of your questions.
Yeah, that was terrific. It was super helpful. All right, so we'll be in touch soon.
Okay, good deal. Thanks,
all right,
ladies.
Take care. Goodbye.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.